Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Today, this idiot and his dog are gonna work on my 1975 Corvette race car!
What he said. Welcome to the new host of the channel. On this week's video, we get DB's 1975 Corvette on the road for the first time since he was born 18 years ago, that his daddy gave him, and it's full of race car parts.
Race car!
Race car! Tell us the story about your trailer park race car.
It's a 1975 Corvette my dad bought for parts.
You paid money for this thing?
Yeah, it was in like 30 different totes. Took those totes, put it into a car.
Where's the totes at? Because I think that was the most valuable part of this purchase. I had to sell those for meth.
Yeah.
Also, they came from the meth state, right?
Is that what South Dakota is?
I'm on meth.
So tell us what you have done to this car before I had to go ahead and undo it.
Put a engine and transmission in it out of a B-modified race car.
Race car!
Race car.
The transmission's out of a race car,
No,
too?
the transmission's out of a different Corvette.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
Corvette transmission.
I think so. Pretty sure.
Did you check the numbers?
No.
What else have you done? So you just set a motor and transmission in it and then gave up?
Well, I got started on
Because you've been working on this thing for how many years?
like 2, but he lives real
Two
far
butts.
away.
But-
Oh, I put these sweet stickers on the side.
I just see stickers. I don't see any sweet ones.
They're sweet.
Does it have a comp cam?
No.
Holly carb.
No.
Her shifter.
Nope.
Mr. Gasket.
Maybe. Yeah, the dipstick's Mr. Gasket go.
Speedway Motors.
Something.
And Jegs.
Definitely yes. Got these wheels at the paint swap meet with him. $200 for a set of 4.
And the side pipes.
And the side pipes too. I think those were as much
Just a
as the
set.
wheels.
Just a set of 2, though.
Yeah.
So what DB is saying, he brought us a real piece of crap that needs a lot of work, and we're gonna get it going for him so that DB can have his very own C3 race car.
Race car!
If you're allergic or don't like the word race car, you're probably gonna wanna skip this video. And now let's cut 10 days ago when I drug this steaming heap of crap inside the shop. Did you know we got the buzzin' half dozen shirts? We got a pre-order sale going on right now. Head on over to mortske.com. Get yourself a buzzin' half dozen shirt. The pre-order is open now. It's only gonna be open for a couple of weeks. We're gonna do one time and one time only. So if you want one of these, head on over and get registered to get one of these things for the pre-sale right meow.
Meow.
Because once the pre-order is over, we're only gonna have a couple of them. So if you're watching this video in 2028 and need a buzzin' half dozen shirt, head on over to mortske.com for a buzzin' half dozen shirt. Maybe we got them, maybe we don't. But if we don't got one, get yourself a ball cap, beanie cap, a banner, t-shirt, sweatshirt, crew neck, magnetic screwdriver, magnetic can koozie, decals, Duff bobbleheads, and more. Head on over to mortske.com for more details. It's a pre-order, so I'm not gonna ship it to you right away. So don't be hounding me about it. We're gonna try this pre-order thing, so don't upset me. You don't wanna upset me, you don't wanna upset the Duff. Mortske.com. Go check it out. Now back to your regular scheduled shenanigans. Enjoy. You follow me. I'm your flat tire. Chin's getting his wallet out so that he can buy it. We've also determined we should probably put air in his brand new white wall Cooper Cobras so that we don't scuff them up. Duff is not impressed. Take a quick glance at this thing. Looks like the paint's a little checked up on that, I don't know, rubber front bumper. Most of these cars are fiberglass, but I think there is some rubber. You know, mismatched pop-up headlight. DB said they're all T-top cars unless you got a glass top. They got terrible, ugly mirrors on them. He says that's factory. I guess somebody stabbed it with some forks one time, so we're gonna have to get some fiberglass repair experts in here. It's got a security system on it. These are, I think, off a later Corvette. Again, we found them down at Paint Swap Meet. I think they're a pretty decent looking wheel. We've tried to find some center caps from lug nut guys, but they didn't fit. They did get us some lug nuts, though. DB said somebody else started doing the body work, which isn't the worst. I think these all came with luggage racks because, as you can see, they got no trunk. It is a power window car. The switches are there in the center console. It's an automatic. I guess all these cars were probably leather and bucket seats. Looks like it's got the old tilt and telescopic column. No radio. We finally figured out how to get the seats to flip forward. The button is way at the top. Got a couple storage compartments back here, and one of them's even got the battery. Let's check this race car engine out under the hood. Ooh. Oh, it even stays up. Nifty. Looks like he's got a new master cylinder. I think he said he got the brakes bled. These things always need brake calipers. Every listing you see says needs front calipers. Looks like he's got chrome alternator brackets. He's got eBay headers that actually fit, or so he claims. Aluminum intake. There's the Phytech throttle body. Aluminum valve covers. The knurled valve cover hold downs. Chrome thermostat housing. All the good stuff. I think this is what he was talking about on the adapter required for the temp sender. We got a pile of inline fuses. I think that's all for the Phytech stuff. So if we get that out of there, we should be golden. It looks like it's got the accelerator intake, no distributor. He said he had an MSD setup, but I just see a box, no distributor. There's the transmission dipstick. Looks like we're just missing a few things under here. Let's go ahead and lift it up and see what the bottom side looks like. I always thought it was neat about the radiators. They kind of laid back at like a 15-degree angle on these things. I guess we're going to run electric fans because we probably don't have a shroud. What makes Corvettes so Corvette? Oh, they got 4-piston calipers, I think, maybe? Or at least dual piston. There must be the return fuel line. He's got the engine ground. You got to ground everything different on these. You can't go to the body because it's fiberglass. Engine mount bolts aren't tight, but he said that. Whew, she is snug between the starter and the headers. Oh, he's got them capped off so that Fievel cannot make his home in there, at least. They have the terrible ram assist power steering that needs hooked up. Looks like we got crusty old brake hoses on it. Don't worry. We got to make it go before it woes. Chrome oil pan. That's how you know it's a race car. Turbo 350. He said that that was interesting to install, something about some adapter. I don't know if he had a truck transmission in there versus a car transmission or what was going on. I guess I didn't pay that close of attention. Is that a breather up there? Looks like he plugged the breather for the transmission, so I'm sure that won't be a problem later. Oh, that must be the adapter. It must be a shorter transmission or whatever it is. He had to put this adapter on here to get it back to the transmission mount. Oh, well, we're not gonna need those with side pipes. I guess we gotta hook up the speedo cable too. That was on the list. He's got a maybe functional park brake. Lucky. So it's got a bolt-on slip yoke. Interesting. I suppose because there isn't enough room to slide a yoke in there and then hook it up to the rear end. Speaking of the rear end, best part of the car, transverse leaf spring, independent rear. He's worried about grenading these. He's got so much horsepower. I told him it's not going to be a problem, and if you do, it'll be very awesome to blow up a rear end in a Corvette with your race car motor. But I feel like blowing apart these U-joints is going to be the least of his worries. Looks like here's the ground from the battery. I'm guessing we're going to have to run a power wire up there unless it's somewhere else. There's that awesome high-performance rear end, the Delco Moraine dual piston or 4-piston calipers. Those actually do look new. No rust in the floor pans. Ooh, there's the electric fuel pump. There's the fuel tank. Oh, he did say he wired up the taillights and got them working. Or he said he wired them up, so surely they're not working. All right. Everything looks pretty decent under here. Not too screwed up. Look at how they drill a hole in the end of the leaf spring and then run like a anti-sway bar end link on there and hook it to the suspension. It's weird. There's your eccentric for adjusting your camber. Oh, we should camber this hog out for him. Yeah, stance, baby.
Kids love that stuff.
Yeah. DB, if you can't weld good, weld a lot. That's good stuff. That chassis ain't flexing nowhere because he flex cored it.
Gotta clear that power steering.
Yeah, maybe you have to grind that down a little bit. The belt will do the grinding.
They don't call it a belt sander for nothing.
Boom. DV, you're gonna want some suspension bushings at some point for all the handling capabilities of your Corvette. I guess first things first, let's get those bolts in on the back of the bell housing so that they're done, and then we can find top dead center and drop a distributor in. Check this power steering out. So instead of your standard 1/2-inch belt, it looks like it's a 3/8 belt, and the power steering pulley is riding on the frame. So I don't know how you're gonna get a different belt on there, but we need to get a different belt on there, and we need to get that off of the frame. It also almost looks like the frame is cracked down there. Let's use our crack finder. Oh yeah, there's definitely a hole in that cross member. It's kind of nifty how they clearance it just for the power steering pulley. Hopefully it's just all the way out on adjustment and we can put a shorter belt on it, adjust it way in, and give ourselves some clearance. I don't know. Seems like Corvette always had weird Corvette only things like engines, because, you know, I love when you buy a small block Chevy or a car that's got a small block Chevy and everyone's like, it's got a Corvette engine in it. And then we got a Corvette and it doesn't even have a Corvette engine in it because somebody stole it and probably put it in like a 78 Malibu station wagon that'll jump a Coke can. All right, why didn't they put these in? It's because you can't get at them? You can see them right there, but you can't quite fish it in there. Ah, there you go. Just the tip. You're gonna want all your bell housing bolts in your low red Corvette with the race car engine, because it'll tear that bell housing right off the front of the transmission with all that horsepower and torque. What this thing's got for gears? 1975? Was that when the speedometers were only 85 mile an hour? Oh shoot, no, that must have been later. She's got a 160 speedo. That's probably the highest speedo we've ever had here. Well, this bolt's supposed to hold the dipstick, and the dipstick is not really in the transmission at all. I went ahead and ordered a $40 Amazon Flexi hose special dipstick. I don't like them, but it's the only way I can see getting a dipstick in this thing. They must have a special dipstick on Corvettes. Well, the headlights are vacuum assist. Guaranteed those don't work anymore. I'm sure everybody buys a electric conversion to flip the headlights up and down. Nowhere to stick the old Cyclops boat thing. What is this block? 207. Is that a 350 block of sorts? Probably. It's a race car engine, that's what it is, Mortske. We're not running this Phytech anyway, so I'm gonna get this wire harness out of the way, or more out of the way than it is now anyway. Oh, he did trim off his zip ties just perfectly so that they're gonna stab me. Thanks, DB, for trying to kill me. He was so proud, put all the loom on all these harnesses too, to really church it up. Where does all these wires go to? Oh, this thing's gonna be so good with a quadrajet on it. Hey, I'm gonna be a little bit hard on DB on this one, because that's how DB learns, and that's how I teach. And also, that's the way I am with every vehicle, as you guys have come to know. DB, he's a good kid. You know, we just want him to go off to college the right way. Okay, speaking of college, DB is going to school to be an electrician. So if your house burns down in the future and DB worked on it, sorry to hear that.
Would be my nephew.
DB.
He's very handy.
What year did his house burn down?
Oh, about 2 years ago. How do you know his house burned down?
What do you got going on here, DB? Where does this wire go? Please be a Scotch lock somewhere. Oh, it's not hooked to anything. Dang it, I knew it was not hooked to anything on one end, but I guessed the wrong end. There's our tack wire and our ignition wire, and I'm guessing the white one is for oil pressure. Do they got that plugged? Oh, they got that plugged. That's good. We don't need oil pressure, it's a race car. Can we disconnect it somewhere else? Are you a disconnect? If I pull hard enough, you will be. Can I disconnect it there? Yes. Okay, now I think all the electrical from the Go EFI 4. It says 600 horsepower on the side. This thing must be rated for 600 horsepower because it's a race car engine. Drink every time I say race car engine. With all the Phytech wiring out of the way, let's see if we can't get this other bell housing bolt in. All right, both the bell housing bolts are in, so we got that off of DB's checklist. Now let's see if we can find top dead center and drop his distributor in. All right, I can see the timing marks. We don't have any fan bolts or a fan, so we can't grab the fan and turn it over. Also, this one-wire alternator that I allegedly gave him has the wrong groove on the pulley, so we need to get the right pulley on there or get the right alternator. I think we'll just find him a regular alternator, internally regulated, so that way he can use all of his electrical connectors that are here. 75 should be internally regulated, right? Yeah. Yeah, we gotta find a way to turn this over. Can we get, yeah, let's put a wrench on there. Here we go. Just tightening the bolt. Ooh, surprised we can crank it over with all that compression race car motor. Oh, never mind, it's got a whole bunch of marks. Frickin' race car things. So, I guess we'll pull the spark plug out. Oh, yay. Headers. Frickin' A. Another reason I love headers is it makes something so simple as changing spark plugs a real pain in the butt. Also, it seems like it's hard to mount a dipstick, and not only the spark plug's an issue, the spark plug wires, they all seem to burn off. And we're gonna need spark plug wires. There's a set on that distributor, and who knows if they're the right ones, or if they were with headers, or if they were with ram horns. I think if you look up like a 75 Corvette, yeah, those are the spark plug wires I always look for. To look up a 75 Corvette, they came with factory ram horn manifolds and an HEI. So they got really long plug wires that go up underneath, and they're for an HEI cap. So your tech tip of the day, if you've got ram horns and an HEI distributor and you need plug wires to go underneath along the oil pan, you want the right ones, get them for a 75 Corvette. So you get HEI and they still use ram horns on these things. Pretty worthless information of the day. Too bad we got headers. You can't have no dang old race car engine without headers. Yep, sure enough, can't get a socket on there. Oh, for cheese and rice. Don't they make cute little stubby spark plugs just for headers? I think Excel made them. Yep, sure enough. Can't get my socket on there. How about a box end wrench? Can we do it with that? Oh yeah, maybe. Come on now. Oh, this is just getting silly now. And of course, they're cranked to the frickin' moon. Oh. I mean, if this thing would do 160 miles an hour from the factory with ram horn manifolds, why would you ever need headers? Success. Ew. I would not want my spark plugs to look like that in my race car. Glad this isn't my race car. Who runs auto lights in a race car? A little carbon action going on there. Must have been too much idling driving her to the golf course. But hey, we got the spark plug out. Now let's take the schlong, ram in that hole, find top dead center, and hopefully we never have to take a spark plug out again on this thing. Here comes the airplane. Ooh, race car pistons. Got her to top dead center. It looks like it's got flat tops with kind of the notches for the valves. It's got the big valves, so there's pretty much no gap in between the intake and the exhaust, so that's how you know you got like 202s and 160s, so definitely race car stuff. Let's stab a distributor in this race car. We're gonna point it right at number 1 cylinder because we're at top dead center. Both valves are closed, so that should be top dead center of the compression stroke on number 1. They did have a plug in there, so that's nice, so that all the rodents didn't crap inside of the race car engine. Does it look like new inside of said race car engine? Except for all the crap that's laying in there, I guess. Here's the distributor DB gave us, and while an HEI distributor is perfect for a race car engine, this one is not. First thing off, this connector that goes to the distributor cap, there should be a clip on either side, and those are missing, so when DB does off-roading with his race car Corvette, this can fall off, and then he sits dead in the water. Wah, wah, wah. Second thing is, right here is our centrifugal advance, and that's hooked up to these springs, and then they go zinging open and centrifugally advance your engine, but the bushings are absolutely toasted. So I'm gonna go dig through my stash because I'm a nice guy, and we're gonna see if we can't find DB a nicer distributor and to throw in there. And we'll throw this one in the trash. Just kidding, we'll throw it in the pile with my other ones. Maybe we can find one with a bright red distributor cap on it. Or yellow. Maybe some blue plug wires? Anyway, we're not putting this in there. He's also missing the gasket, so I'm gonna go see if I can find a distributor and a distributor gasket for the old DB race car. Ooh, we should get some of that braided covering that goes over all the vacuum hoses. What about that, Duff, huh? Yeah? How excited are you to go for a ride in your first Corvette? Pretty excited? Yeah, me too. Can't wait to whip some donuts in this thing. Dug through my stash, and the only red cap I could find was busted, but I did find him a red rotor, and this is a brand used aftermarket billet aluminum setup. Should be just fine. It's got both clips on it. It's got hardly any runtime on it, so let's slam that in there. Ooh, and it's got a gasket too, so everything we need. So now we just drop this in, find that cylinder number 1. We'll be good to go, right? Cylinder 1, right here. Let's go back a cog. Nope, I don't like that. We're going back again. I don't like that one either. Split the difference. Come on now. I guess that's what we're gonna get. Final answer. Put their fancy chrome hold down on there. I guess we gotta go find some hardware to hold it. Distributor is in. Let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air and tighten those engine mount bolts before we forget about that. And he said something about the drive shaft hardware being loose. So let's go ahead and get all that stuff tightened up before I forget about it. All right. Why did they not tighten these up? Oh, you can't get the bolts out with the headers in place. So that's awesome. We can't put the right bolts in there, so we're just gonna leave the ones that are in there. Yay, headers. Oh, chrome oil pan, at least my light clips to it. In 1975, Corvette still used the old style engine mounts like they did in the 60s. It doesn't use the regular clamshells that like a 75 Chevy pickup would. Interesting. Jeepers, DB, could have pressure washed all the grease off this engine before you installed it. Oh, he's got this side in backwards, so you can't get it out without removing the fuel pump, but he's got a fuel pump block-up plate, so not of his concern.
Well, I tightened up the engine mount hardware. Duff tightened up the drive shaft hardware, so we're ready to run this thing back on the ground and work on some stuff up top.
But before that, let's take a look at this cute little drive shaft in this thing. I also noticed that he's got this fuel pump for his fuel injection, and I think this is coming out of the tank, and that's going forward, but anyway, right on the hose, and not for fuel injection, and that stuff is stiffer than a wedding, you know what. We're gonna abandon all that anyway to run off a carburetor, but good stuff. Maybe this is the side? Oh, this is 250 PSI, so this must be the out. He's got the right stuff, but god dang, that stuff's stiff as a brick. He did put a filter in there, so. He's also got some really heavy wire going to it that's gonna rub right through on that tin shield, so I don't know what he's got going on there. But he did route it nicely along the cross member and into the battery compartment where it's gonna rub through on the fiberglass there, so that's good.
Duff says it'll be fine. Can't burn, it's fiberglass.
Let's see what DB got us for a radiator. Hopefully it's got electric fans for his sake. Hopefully it doesn't have electric fans for the sake of humanity. Oh, he had a bunch of relays in there, didn't he? It's got electric fans for sure. Oh. All right. Well, there's the top. You can tell it's the top by the way that it's got a radiator cap. And you want your radiator cap on the top of your radiator, not at the bottom. So, yeah, I'm sure we got no way to mount this thing. It also looks like we got no fittings for the transcooler. Oh, it's got the inverted flare built right in. Perfect, or does it? What is that? I'm hoping it's inverted flare, but it doesn't look very inverted flare-esque to me. Oh, it's got a port up here for the steam port for when he LS swaps this thing. Yay for electric fans. Let's wire these into a relay and then just hook it up to a toggle switch that's hooked up to battery power, so you got to remember to turn it on so you don't overheat your engine, and you got to remember to turn it off so you don't have a dead battery. I love hearing me some electric fans. That's the best part when you pull up to the car show with your hopped up Corvette and you go ahead and park it and the fans just keep going. So how does that thing mount in there? It looks like we're missing one of the rubbers, and Corvette guys, they don't use rubbers. So I don't have much for Corvette parts around here. I don't see any radiator hold downs in our collection of things in the car. So yeah, I guess that's up to us to fabricable something there. Cool, great, grand, wonderful.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
Well, how long of a rubber do we need? It's gonna be a real long one because it's Corvette.
I've got the golden ticket.
Looks like 3 3/4. Of course, by rubbers, I mean rubber isolators. I've got a couple here that look similar to what's on here, but not the same. These only really work that great with the factory copper and brass radiators. These aluminum radiators are fabricated and they don't have that nice contour, and they're flat and they got a weld and they're wider. So these don't work that great, but it's better than being aluminum on steel, right? Right. Good enough for the girls DB goes with. Ola Tiffany just said, before you go ahead and stick that radiator in it, let's go ahead and resolve everything we got going on with power steering pulleys and alternator pulleys and fan pulleys and bracketry and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and take the alternator and the alternator belt off, find some bolts for the water pump pulley, get the belt off for the power steering pump, and figure out what we got to do there so that it doesn't rub on the frame. Maybe we'll just put some 2x4s in between the engine mounts and lift her up. Give us some clearance, Clarence.
2-4.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Or we could take the old gas axe and make a little clearance around the cross member. Eh? Lightweight, super fast things, race car things. Race car. Good news is it's got tall valve covers because race car, so you got almost no adjustment with your alternator. Oh, there we go. Alexa, play Little Red Corvette. You sick of hearing it yet? That's what we're gonna nickname DB until this project's over, is Prince. Prince has arrived. Little Red Corvette. We're gonna make him play this on the drums. It was easier to get at the pivot bolt underneath the car, so I lifted it up. And then also I was trying to figure out what's going on. That's a pressure hose, and there's no return hose on the power steering pump. So I was trying to figure out where those go, and there's this block at the cylinder that does valve things. That's the return, so we can hook that up easy enough. But somebody cut the pressure, and I'm guessing this pressure is a different size than that. So that's awesome. We're gonna need a pressure hose, I got a feeling. And it's probably a different pump. GM was pretty notorious for using a lot of different power steering pumps. So I'm guessing that our fittings are not gonna be the same if we get a new one, but cross that bridge when we get there. So while I'm under here, I'm gonna take the old pressure line off, see if we can't get the return hose hooked up as well, because we're here. Little Red Corvette. Oh, those are the good stainless headers. They're not magnetic. Return side is usually pretty easy. That's just bulk power steering or hydraulic hose. So you can replace that if you want. You don't have to buy anything special because there's no crimped on ends, because it's low pressure, because it's return. So now would be the time to put a new one on, but I'm not getting paid for this, so why would I do that? DB gets a new power steering hose. Actually, just kidding. This stuff looks pretty good. Come on, go on there. DB is gonna be the coolest kid at community college with his race vette. Of course I installed that so that you can't get at it. Well, DB showed me the title the other day, and it looked like 2016 his dad transferred it, and I think his dad just bought it as a parts car. It was, believe it or not, in worse condition than this when DB's dad got it, so this thing's been off the road for at least 10 years. Speaking of 10 years ago, I just looked at the tires because I'm like, why would he put 235/70s on? And they're date coded 2016 as well, so he bought some 10-year-old white letters to put on it. So clearly, we're raising DB right. He loves electric fans, electric fuel pumps, white letters. We may as well stick some flexi hoses on it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Good kid, good kid. All right, now let's get the pressure line off. Oh my gosh, it's smaller than ½ inch. What the heck, Corvette? That's like brake line size. Ooh. I call these a ram assist style power steering, where it's got a ram or a hydraulic cylinder that assists the steering. GM implemented it in probably the mid 50s, maybe even the early 50s. For sure you could get them on like 58, 9 Chevys. My 64 wagon's got it. It's not bad, but there's just so many leak points.
Can't believe they used it on these Corvettes in the 70s. But anyway, I'm guessing 50 years later now, they probably make a power steering assist steering box, but I'm guessing that's real money. And we're on a DB budget. Ooh, look at that wire harness that he's got just running right over the steering sector that it's been rubbing on. Well, that's not good. Anyway, here's our power steering hose. And it's got some different bends than what's here, and it's also about 3 times larger. So we're gonna have to see if we can't get one of those coming. Great. Spending money. DB is gonna have to clean so many wheels and mow so many lawns to reimburse me. Who am I kidding? I'm never getting paid back. 35 bucks for a power steering hose, and Napa's gonna have it in the morning, they say, if it's the right one. Oh, this is gonna be a treat. Doesn't that go up any higher? What is the deal? Well, hopefully he never has to put a belt on the road because he's gonna have a heck of a time. Race cars don't need power steering. That thing is ancient. What even is it? Oh my gosh, it's a GM 458 565 by Goodyear. That thing is, holy buckets, old. So how do we get another belt on there? Alternator belt goes on first. I'm gonna go find alternator and put on here, get that on here, and then worry about the power steering. First, let's find some bolts for the water pump. Scrounged up a new used Alternator. Come on, Meow.
Now what is so damn funny?
Get in there. Come on. I do not know much about Corvettes, but it appears this thing has a short water pump on it, which is kind of intriguing that they were still using short water pumps in 1975, but who knows? Could be a mishmash of parts on here. There we go. Right into the aluminum valve covers. Now we put our belt back on. Let me guess. Too short. Oh, got it. These valve covers aren't even held down. It's because of the knurled valve cover bolts. I feel like this chrome bracket isn't factory, but I don't have any alternator brackets for 75 Corvettes. Mojo making so much noise back there. Now I suppose you should wire up that alternator while we're here. So what do we got here? A plug and the power wire for the back, and then I presume that is a ground because Corvette things. And what is that? I don't know. It's been spliced. So we're just gonna pretend like that's extra. There's gonna be a lot of extra wires on this project. I got a feeling like this one. There we go. It's gotta be the ground, right? Right? I don't think we want to hook it to power. Is it long enough? Oh yeah, it'll reach up there. Perfect. All right, ground the case of the alternator with a 5/16 bolt. And I think this is a 1/4 inch, the stud down here that pretty much powers everything up. How about the nut off the alternator we just removed? Jackpot. Money in the bank. I do believe the GM internally regulated alternator is basically the Ford 9-inch of alternators. The small block Chevy, per se, of alternators. Alternators. Anyway, you see these things on everything. Alice Chalmers tractors, you see them on Generac generators. You see them on basically every hot rod out there. These things, freaking solid. Especially when you convert them to one wire. The only thing I don't like about that is they got to get revved up to excite them a little bit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I like leaving the regulator in there and then just wiring them up factory style, especially on an application like this. So if this ever goes bad on DB, he just goes into O'Reilly's and says, hey, I need an alternator for a 75 Chevrolet Corvette with a 350. Was the only option for that year I found. Bolts are right on, good to go. That ground isn't on all alternators. I mean, it's there, but usually there isn't a wire hooked up to it. But I suppose because this is a fiberglass car, maybe there's a ground there.
I don't know. Anyway, this one's got a ground. All right, cool. Alternator installed. Our belt's installed. Our alternator's wired up. Let's figure out what we got to do for the power steering down there. Hopefully we can sneak a belt on there and get it tensioned up, and then we'll be good to go on that aspect. God dang it, the light just glaring off these fancy chrome race car valve cover breathers. Rock Auto calls out a 15365 belt. Let's see if we can't get it to sneak on there and if it's the right size. Or maybe they got a mishmash of bracketry and pulleys and this isn't gonna work, but we're gonna find out. Oh, it's just so tight to that cross member. Gross. Good grief. I cannot get this belt fished between the cross member and the pulley, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the mounting bolts for the power steering pump, and we'll put this on there and then bolt it back in there. I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to do it, but that's what I'm gonna try anyway. Oh, neat. A bunch of spacers and washers behind it to try to keep track of. Lock washers even. That's definitely factory. West River stuff. Come on now. Get on there. There we go. There we go. Now we're talking. Can we get it bolted back up and adjust it? All right, it's on there. Oh boy, I think we can adjust it. It's definitely gonna rub though. Frick. There's no way you're gonna get a belt on there to not rub. Not with this conglomeration. That's probably why they had that little teeny belt on there that didn't belong. Yeah, belt is rubbing on the crossmember. Great. Grand. Wonderful.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
I love working on other people's projects. It makes me feel so silly, smart. Yeah. So there's the problem. The belt is literally laying on the crossmember. And that's not good. Not going to last very long. So I'm guessing it's because we got the wrong bracketry and or power steering pump. If only I had a C3 Corvette in the backyard to go take a look at. But I don't have a C3 or any Corvette for that matter. So we're going to have to go on the internet and you know how that goes. All right, so I spent a whole bunch of time taking that alternator bracket off and the alternator and the belt and the power steering and the moving stuff around, and I got it as good as I can get. It's just barely touching the cross member, but I still don't like how it is. So then I got out the old straight edge, and the straight edge, don't lie, DB said that they put the washers on the back side to get it to line up, but apparently DB didn't have a straight edge. This is all you need for a straight edge. It's not really scientific. I mean, it is, but you could use any other straight piece of anything. So you should be able to line up each pulley. So we'll set it on the crank pulley, and you can see it's the thickness of the pulley off. So that's at least one set of his lock washers. We're gonna go ahead and pull them all out and see where it's at and go from there. So what I had ended up finding is, I think this bracket is the wrong bracket right here. And that bracket was binding and not allowing the power steering pump to rotate like it should. And so they had it on this side of that stud, and so I took the stud out and put it on the inside. Now it seems to swing way better, and of course it's touching on the back side of the crossmember, so if we take those washers out that should not be in there, you should never have any washers in there. If you do, you're doing something wrong. At least if you're going to do it, make some bushings. Don't use just washers, and especially don't use split ring lock washers. So we're going to take those out, and hopefully that moves that pulley back so that way it's not rubbing on this crossmember. And with a belt, a little bit of misalignment is acceptable, but you want to try to get it as straight as you can for longevity of not only your pulleys, but also your belt. So I'm going to go ahead and take that all apart, take the 3 split ring lock washers they got on both sides, and see what happens then. Alexa, play Little Red Corvette. Little Red Corvette. I got all of their washers out of there, and when I put a straight edge on the power steering pump, I'm closer to the second groove or the middle groove on the lower pulley than I am to the front groove, but I can't go back any further to get it to where it needs to be on that groove. It also seems like the pulley is not sitting straight with the engine. It's sitting at a little bit of an angle. And also, now this tensioner is absolutely horrendously way off, and that looks like it's for an alternator bracket. That's the other thing. You want to get your pulleys aligned perfectly when you got a race car engine, because this thing's going to be zinging, and you don't want to be hucking belts and ruining radiators and ruining your race car engine. The water pump pulleys line up, but these don't. I did look at some pictures on the internet, and you can buy these brackets, and I don't know if it's Corvette only or I just don't happen to have it, but of course this is V8, small block, short water pump, which I seem to have a lot of, but there's a lot of different combinations. So I don't have what I need, and what I need is one that bolts on those 2 bolts down by the crank on the front of the block, and then it comes over and it's got the adjuster built right into it. That's why they got this janky adjuster. And then it wraps around and then bends around past the 90, so like 120 degrees, and then bolts onto the engine mount. I need one of those. I've seen them before, I've had them before, but I don't have one laying loose anywhere. So we're just gonna have to make something. And so that goes on the backside. It's about a 1/4 inch thick, so that'll space it ahead to where it needs to be, but that's also our adjuster. So we're gonna go ahead and take one of these. I got this bracket right here. We're gonna take one of those and make something like that with those 2 holes, and that's gonna be our spacer. That way we're not using washers, so that should space our pulley out. And then we're gonna have to find some type of adjuster setup or make that one work. So I'm gonna go find some 1/4 inch steel, drill a couple of 3/8 holes in it. We're gonna get that thing spaced out, and then we'll worry about the adjuster afterwards. DB, this is your sign to go buy the right stuff to put on here. You won't, I know you won't, but you should go ahead and buy the correct stuff so that when the pulley goes flying off and shoots to the radiator, it's not my fault. Guess what I found for 1/4 inch material? That's right, rusty old worn out 2006 Ram 2500 brake pads. Got our holes drilled. Now we just gotta go ahead and trim her down to size, knock the remaining, yeah, I used the good one that actually still had some friction material on it. We gotta knock that off of there, and then this isolator or whatever on the backside. We'll hit her with the flap disc and she'll be good as new. DB's never gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
And there you have it, one spacer made out of a late model brake pad. If this was a real quality Corvette, we would want to have a fender cover on here, but because it's DB's, we should probably put a fender cover on it. Get your fender cover at mortskerepair.com. They look something similar to this, and guess what? Right now, if you get one of these on the dates listed below, get yourself 15% off your fender cover. So head on over to mortskerepair.com, get yourself a fender cover, save on the fender of your super red, nice Corvette or your race car. Don't forget, pre-orders are open for the Buzzin' Half Dozen Inline 6 15's Too Young, 36 Too Old, 24's Just Right shirts. Limited production. We're only doing it once, so get them now, get them while they're hot, or forever hold your peace. Now back to your power steering shenanigans. Now let's see how our pulleys line up. Freaking spot on. All right, now we gotta figure out our adjuster. How can we do that? So it's got an offset right here. So it's got a jog here and a jog back the other direction here. We're gonna bend it a little bit more here and a little bit more here to try to get it further inside so that it's on the correct plane. So I'm gonna take it over to the vise and we're gonna do that. Can you tell the difference? I know it moved, but I don't want to move it too far, because then we got to bend it back. We're close. Got to bend that one back a little bit more. And you should be able to tell when you get her about right, because this surface right here, where our bolt mounts, and this surface where our other bolt mounts, should be parallel. Not on the same plane, but parallel. Or to be the same plane. Anyway, parallel. Ooh, I think that's going to work. That's the money shot right there. Cool. Let's put a belt on this thing. Let's see that. Let's do, oh, look at that. You can take the belt off. You can put the belt on. All the belt things. It's great. Isn't that what the greatness of lining your pulleys up and using, I wouldn't say using the right stuff even, just using the proper spacers. Maybe we gotta have the right size belt now. No, it's gonna go. It's gonna be real tight, but it's gonna go. Got it. Cool. Oh, so much clearance. All right, power steering is installed. Hopefully we can get the cap off to fill it later. The alternator is right there, and I did read that, guys, online, if you don't have the right belt on it or don't have it proper adjustment, you can't get at that cap. So excited to find out what happens there. This lower bracket appears to be stock. It's cast aluminum, but this adjuster that is chrome appears to be from a parts store, and I'm not sure if it's the right one. I'm thinking this bracket is supposed to shoot over and go to the front of the intake. There should be a drilled and tapped hole there. On the original intakes, these aftermarket ones just have a boss for it, so you have to drill it and tap it yourself. But that's above my pay grade, so we're not doing that. Looks like we need a 3/4 inch spacer, and then with the thickness of the brackets, we're gonna need a bolt that's an inch longer. And that's a lot of stress on that bolt. Not only is that bolt holding basically half of the weight of the entire alternator, but it's also got to hold this adjuster. So I hate chrome brackets. I hate a lot of things, and a lot of those things are on this car. Red being one, chrome brackets, headers. I don't hate Phytech, but everybody says bad things about it, so we're getting rid of that, unfortunately. Electric fans. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and bend this bracket. White letters, side pipes. Let's take this over the vise. See if we can get 3/4 of an inch of jog out of this bad boy. I'm gonna be really sad if I bend it wrong and it doesn't work for our application. Who am I kidding? I won't care. All right, get our marquee Markerton here. Figure out where we gotta put our bends at. If this actually works, if I bend it in the right spot at the right angles, it'll be a frickin' miracle. My biggest fear is bending it the wrong way, so the offset. Instead of a 3/4 inch spacer, we need an 1.5 inch spacer. Come on, Chinese metal. No way this works. Not a chance. All right, let's try it. And with the magic of movies, it's gonna bolt right on. Didn't even crack the chrome. Got a little teethy on it. I don't like it when they get teethy, do you? If only I had plastic jaws for my vise, which I do. For only $100 an hour, you can drop your crappy project car off and we'll make it less crappy, maybe. By golly. I think we could bend it a little bit more. I think it's gonna be good enough though. Let's try it. Why doesn't it adjust? Ah! Oh yeah! Freaking nice. It's gonna work. It's got to. Oh, fantastic. After pretty near a whole day later, we finally got 2 belts on this thing that are lined up quite respectably. I think we're about ready to slide a radiator in the old Fred Rocket here. It's a race car aluminum radiator. It's not a factory Corvette or a Corvette application radiator because they wanted like $700 in the words of DB. So it's like some $150 or $200 Chinesium one. But anyway, he said you got to put a 2x4 underneath to space it up so that you can get at the radiator hose. I feel like the factory didn't have a 2x4 underneath there. But anyway, the core support isn't bolted to this vacuum tank or air tank that's also a cross member at the front of this thing to run the headlights up and down. DB did say he's gonna get some electronic actuators or something because, you know, race car engine doesn't have enough horsepowers in order to make enough vacuum to run the headlights. We gotta bolt the core support to the brackets on the vacuum tank before we do that. And I wanna do that now before we get the radiator in there. So let's lift this thing up in the air and do that real quick. So this cross member right here doubles as a vacuum tank. So there's a port on the top that you hook your vacuum line up to, and then you get air vacuum in there, and then you run that line to your vacuum canisters for your headlight actuators, and bada bing, bada boom, you get flip up headlights. But anyway, there's supposed to be a bolt that goes through this bracket and into that bracket right there at the bottom of that air tank that holds the core support. So we're gonna go ahead and install those because DB says he couldn't get a bolt in there. I bet I can get a bolt in there though. 7/16 it is. I got a feeling he's got the bolts for this core support snugged up to the inner fenders. We're gonna have to loosen those first, eh? Yay for mismatched hardware. In DB's defense, this car was in pieces when he started working on it. Oh yeah, slid right up there. Perfect. Yeah, that core support's just kind of bolted to the inner fenders. It's not held. Usually your core support sits on top of a cross member, so there's a lot of support there, you know, because you got a giant radiator full of 30 pounds of coolant or whatever, so you want some support. So yeah, I think it needs these bolts. DB was gonna run without. We're gonna run with. We're gonna take the time to literally loosen some hardware and thread a bolt in. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we just gotta snug all of the core support hardware up. Alexa, play Little Red Corvette. Well, let's go fetch up that race car aluminum radiator and slide it in here. We better put a Mortske fender cover on both sides to really save the paint on this thing. Let's see if it fits. DB says he had it in here. But he says you can't get at the lower radiator hose. Well, I don't think we can bring it up much higher because we're going to get into the hood. I'm guessing this core support sits right about where the bottom of the hood sits. I mean, the right thing to do would be to get a radiator that fit. Yeah, it costs more, but that's the price you got to pay when you own a race car Corvette. Costs a lot of money to look this cool, I told DB. You gonna show him the problem with DB's race car radiator, Duff? So there's the lower radiator outlet, and there is the sway bar, and they're kind of fighting for the same real estate. And so we got to run a hose from there way up to there, so that's going to take the world's longest flexi hose, but we have to come through here and up there. Or we got to get one that bends real tight and then go straight up that. DB's solution was to just raise this up 1.5 inches with a 2x4 and then clear it. Then even there, you got to get her to bend pretty tight before the cross member. I'm guessing the factory Corvette radiator would have an elbow that shoots up right there, which we don't have. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do. We could take the sway bar off. We could go get the right radiator. We could find a radiator shop to weld an elbow on there. We could try to bend some exhaust tubing. We got options. I'm gonna have a sandwich with old Tiffany. We're gonna try to figure out what to do here. Because the right thing to do would be to get the right radiator, but that costs money. Executive decision has been made. We're taking the sway bar off. Sway bar delete. The right radiator without the fan is $135 on eBay, or with a fan, $160. So hopefully DB got this for like $11. But anyway, we're getting rid of his sway bar. This port is 1.5 inches. It should be 1.75 inches. It should be about 4 inches up higher, and it should come out and have an elbow pointing straight up. So I have radiator hoses coming for this thing. They're not going to fit because this is in the wrong spot. So, in essence of time, we're going to have the only Corvette without a sway bar. Don't they take sway bars off for like when you do off-road stuff?
Yeah, this is the Baja Corvette.
It's
now.
the Baja Vette. It's no longer race car vet.
Off-road racing.
Off-road race vet.
The tires are already dirty.
Comment down below what we're going to name this thing. The fail vet. Little Red Corvette is taken. Oh yeah, so much room for activities.
Look at all this floor space.
So
We do aerobics in here.
So many activities.
Now we just gotta get a flexi hose that goes from 1.5 inches, goes up and around 4 miles later and goes to 1.75 inches. The bad news is I hate flexi hoses. The good news is I've been hanging on to a few of them. The ones with the big, ugly, obnoxious stripes, those are my favorite. Look at this one, this is like brand new. Wow. Wow, look at that! So excited to use one of these. DB's not my child and he's 18 now, so I can beat him with this, right? I don't see why not. Oh, it feels so dirty. Okay, that end's too big. Perfect. How about this end? For dumb. So dumb. We're gonna have to put a bushing on this end, but let's make sure it fits the other end first. We're just gonna shelve the whole radiator issue for right now. DB's got the right one ordered off of eBay. It's about 200 bucks. We're hoping it'll be here by the time we gotta have this video out, but if not, I guess we're just gonna take the hood off and put it up high here, or put a barrel on the roof like we used to do on the derby cars back in the day, or just loop the hoses and smoke his race car engine. But anyway, speaking of hot garbage, let's get rid of this Fitech. He said he got a sweet deal on it. It's brand new. But anyway, we don't have time to get that going. So we're gonna go ahead and throw an Edelbrock on it. So let's get that off of here. Oh. Let's not drop any of these Allen bolts into our race car engine. Oh, it's a single plane, cause race car. If anybody wants a sweet deal on a Fitech, hit us up. dbsucks@ordering parts@gmail.com. The old wind accelerator. All right, we're gonna put some lube on this gasket so that when DB finds his own carburetor or goes ahead and puts this Fitech back on it, we can reuse the gasket. What was that? Ah, the crown jewel. The Edelbrock 1406 600 CFM electric choke for all the winter driving we're gonna do with our race car here. Too lazy to go grab some other 5/16 bolts, so we're gonna use DB's fancy Allen heads that he's got here. Are these chrome? With some black overspray? Probably. All right, now we just gotta get fuel to the old Edelbroken. I know we're doing everything that I hate on this car, but I really hate when the fuel hoses loop way out here and go in on these Edelbrocks. So you buy these kits, there's a bunch of different companies. This is a Mr. Gasket version. Anyway, they bolt on right here and then run the fuel hose out here, so it's nice and inconspicuous. And that's what you want on your race car, inconspicuous fuel lines. Oh, and this is finger tight. Good thing we checked. We got our electric fuel pump bypassed. I did leave the filter back there, so that way it's getting filtered by the Fitech filter. And then we got an inline filter up here that is clear, which I don't really like, but that way DB can keep an eye on it and make sure that he doesn't have any rust in his tank. And if he's got rust in his tank, he's gonna have rust in his filter. And then what is DB gonna do about it? Probably nothing until his car doesn't run, and then he's gonna call me. But anyway, fuel system is pretty much plumbed up. I got our throttle linkage hooked up, got our throttle spring hooked up. We don't have a kickdown hooked up, but DB's gonna have to buy some bracketry for that or figure out something there. I don't know what you do. I probably have something for how to hook a kickdown up to an Edelbrock, but I don't know. He's gonna have to figure out what he wants for a carburetor, if he wants to go with the Fitech, or if he's gonna find himself a Holly, or if he's gonna put a quadrajet on it, you know, keep it numbers matching. But anyway, fuel system is pretty much plumbed up. So now I want to go ahead and figure out the ignition system. So I'm going to round up a distributor cap. Hopefully I can find a really ugly like blue one maybe, or yellow, red. Just kidding. I think probably all I got is black or gray, but we're going to put one of those on there. We're going to try to figure out some plug wires that clear the headers so they don't burn off. And then we're going to put a battery in this thing and see if we got power to the ignition and if we got power to the starter and power to everything else. But also, speaking of power, we got to have a longer belt so that the alternator clears this super tall valve covers that he says that he doesn't need. I guess this race car engine has stamped steel rockers or something. But anyway, these stupid valve covers pushes the alternator out to clearance them. And now the belt on the bottom side of this belt rubs on the power steering pump. DB noticed it the other day. He's been periodically checking up on my progress, you know, making sure I'm doing all the right things for his race car here. But long story short, I'm gonna get rid of this valve cover. We're gonna put some crappy stamped steel one on here that clears the alternator so that way we can run a regular length belt on here so that it's not rubbing on the power steering pump. So don't put stupid big tall valve covers on your stupid race car if you don't need this stupid clearance. Don't be stupid, stupid. We're definitely gonna use this silly nerdled valve cover nut things. Oh, I guess we should probably hook up the brake booster if we ever get to the point of needing brakes. But anyway, I'm gonna do that before we run spark plug wires over the valve cover.
Oh, it's a race car. Gonna put some pretty polished valve covers on it. Spend money on those instead of the right frickin' radiator.
I am curious as to what race car heads are on this race car engine. What do we got? Oh my gosh, 993 is the greatest of the smog era heads. Oh, made in Taiwan. I'm gonna check these out, huh, Duff? Well, it looks like it's got screw-in studs with a bunch of high-temp silicone around them, so race car things, you know, use the high temp. Got aftermarket head bolts, ARPs maybe. Anyway, 993s, race car stuff. Looks like they got the good valve cover gaskets at least, so we can reuse those. See what kind of hot garbage stamped valve covers I got laying around. Mojo's over here putting the real race car engines in. Ooh, yeah. You get to do all the fun stuff. What do we got over here? That'll probably work. Which side is this? Oh, that one will have a breather in it too. Which one do we want? Choose wisely. That one's got a gasket in it already. This one doesn't, so we're using this one. We got all the race car engines. 428 Pontiacs. We got legit crate engines. We got core race car engines. All right, here we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Stick a breather in that because the other side doesn't have breathers. And we got a place to fill oil. We're golden. Good grief. I hope we're done messing with belts on this thing for the foreseeable future, because in order to take the alternator belt off, you gotta take the power steering belt off. So we took that stuff all apart. We got clearance now, but there's not enough adjustment in this chrome adjustment bracket, so I had to drill a hole, so there's no adjustment to his alternator belt. So DB, when you watch this video, go ahead, get yourself some correct power steering brackets and get yourself some correct alternator brackets. You just need the adjuster for the alternator, but you need everything for the power steering because it's sitting cattywampus because the bracket that you got is worn out. Anyway, it's all together now. Shorter belt. We got all kinds of clearance.
We have clearance, Clarence.
And hopefully we're done with that entire situation. So now, let's go ahead and work on the ignition, and I can get angry at some headers now because I'm good and angered up at the whole accessory belt situation. Fun times. DB was gracious enough to provide us with this distributor cap, so we're going to use it because he's already blown his budget. He's going to be working for us for a couple of lifetimes to pay the labor off here. But anyway, funny thing is, my grandpa used to have a sign that said X amount of dollars per hour if you've worked on it before, or X amount of dollars per hour, X amount of dollars per hour if you watch, and even more money if you've worked on it before. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is DB is driving the rates up on this thing because he's worked on it before. All right, let's see how bad this is. This better be number one. We got them labeled for us. Sure enough, number one in the giant green tape. All right, cool. Let's hook up our distributor. We're gonna go ahead and hook up a few wires, hopefully.
That side of the plug wires went pretty well. We got a couple over here that are probably gonna burn off. So I guess we should pull a couple of spark plug wire protector boot thingers out of our stash for all the times that we never put headers on. But other than that, I think we're good on the ignition side. Let's throw a battery in this thing and see if we got key power to the pink wire, and then the other one should be the tack. And if we got power there and the engine cranks over, we might just be able to try to fire this thing up.
Now, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the C3s, but I wasn't familiar with these things before we got this thing. I mean, I knew a little bit, but the battery's behind the seat. Let me show you. So there's our battery right there. I'm guessing that thing is toast, so let's go ahead and fish that out of there and find a new one.
Oh, it's just a little guy.
He just a little guy.
The old Never Start from June of 23, so it's not quite 3 years old. It might have life in it. Guess what our battery sponsor is this week? Whatever you put on the teleprompter, I'll say.
For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
Fluffy McTits is our battery sponsor this week. That's right, we're working through the list. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting a while, but we'll get to you. If you want to be a battery sponsor, you can be at mortske.com. I'm going to figure out Which side is which for us? Oh, what is this? The frickin' Cars, Heartbeat City. Hello again, looking for love. Magic, drive, stranger eyes. You might think it's not the night. Why can't I have you? I refuse. And Heartbeat City. That's some good jams right there. I had the Cars Greatest Hits CDs. I got them from BMG. You guys remember BMG in Columbia House? A 3/8 Craftsman 1/4 inch deep. And a 3/8 and 10mm. What is this? It's the Metrinch. Dear Lord. That sounds like a good way to round some stuff off. We're just gonna assume that the cable without an end on it is the positive. You know what assuming does? It makes an ASS out of you and me. The cable that's got an end on it fit on the negative cable, so I'm gonna go ahead and find another bolt-on battery cable end, and we're gonna put that on the positive and see if this thing burns to the ground. Because why wouldn't it? Look at all the wiring that DB did. Looky here, I found a red bolt-on battery cable end. Yeah, really splurging here. This way when DB definitely has a dead battery, he knows which way to hook up the jumper cables, or has to put a new battery in it, or whatever. But anyway, red one going on there, just for you, Wes. Well, it's hooked up. I don't hear any burning yet. Ooh, dome light's on. We definitely got to remember to unhook this thing at night. Put her in park. Does she crank? She buzzes. Wow, you turn it ahead and the key falls out? Classic. Alrighty. I think we just throw some gas in it. It's an HEI. If we got power to it, we're gonna know. A little hot sauce for the old L broken. You're ready to light up, aren't you, little race car? Please don't burn to the ground. Slingshot engage.
Slingshot engaged.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Let's hook up the wire to the distributor at least. Battery is on the right. Oh, the clip's busted on there. DB, make sure you get a new clip for your connector for your battery connection. The tack one is there. You want to make sure you got those, otherwise when you hit a bump in your race car, your battery wire falls out. Bad things happen. Nothing? I guess time to see if we got power to our ignition wire. Maybe that's why they parked it. Oh, we got these glorious knurled valve cover hold downs for a ground. We got power. Shoot! Usually if you got power to an HEI, you got spark. Alright, which plug wire is easiest to take off? Number 3 it is. Let's test for a little spark action. What the heck? Do we not have power at crank? Is my Chinese HEI that I tried to pine off in DB no good? We got power with the key on. I want it crank. We got power. What the French toast? Whoa, that scared me. Maybe I got this other clip backwards. I don't know if you can get them backwards, but we'll try. You can get these clips off real easy by using your Screwed by Mortske Repair magnetic screwdriver. Get yours at mortske.com so that I can afford to buy parts for DB's car to keep it on the road, to get it on the road. I've never looked at one of these clips. Can you get them back? No. Oh, there it is. The red wire pushed out. There's your problem, lady. So I bet if we push that back up in there and hope it stays there, you got a chance. Looks like there's a notch on the far end of this connector, so it can only go one way. I've never got one backwards, but usually they're kind of laid out so that they only want to hook up one way, but this aftermarket one, they're not laid out like that. We got spark, it's gonna go. It's gonna go. We're gonna do race car things. Hopefully the gas is still on the carburetor. Race car engine, straight out the headers. And timing off. Which way is it off? Too soon. We shouldn't be 180 off because we used the old analyscope and stuck in there, and it was actual top dead center, so should be close. Let's bump it over to where it's pointing at number 1-ish and see what happens. Well, that says it's way too far advanced. Let's crank it to the top dead center of what the mark says and see what happens. Oh, I'm not gonna turn it by hand. It's a race car engine, all the compression. All right, that's top dead center according to that. Looks like it's pointing straight at number 1. Let's try her again. I don't get it. We gotta be like really freaking close. Try a little more timing, I guess. Here we go. Slingshot engage.
Slingshot.
Ha! Race car! She's gonna need some adjustment. We're ballpark. Race car. All right, she runs. We gotta do some stuff with the power steering pump. We gotta make sure it's got ATF in it. We got things to do. Now that we know this thing runs, it's time for the fun stuff. Let's get some side pipes on this thing, or heated running boards as I call them. Yes, these weed burners have stainless covers that go over them, but DB thought he needed to take that apart too, so anyway, we'll put that on once we get her all mounted up. I'm gonna go ahead and put these things as far back as I can, not for aesthetics, but it'll be easiest to run exhaust that way, and if DB wants to move them further ahead, that is on him. They make some really cool side pipes for these things. I think you can get them factory, actually. But they got like 4 pipes like wrapped around coming out the side. Freaking sweet. And they make headers specifically for it to make this job a whole lot easier, but we don't have either. No cool headers designed for side pipes, or no side pipes with 4 pipes coming into one, but they're gonna be functional at least. There is a muffler built in this thing. It's just like one giant glass pack. And these things, I don't even see any soot in there. I think they're new old stock. Looks like the clamps kind of double as the retainer bracket. They're bent at a 90 to go underneath. I think I'm gonna take that bracket off and straighten it out, and then screw it right into the side of the frame. How about that? Better yet, let's just weld it to it. Really make DB hate his life. We're gonna put this angle iron into our bench vise and make it a piece of flat strap. We found these side pipes for DB down at the Pate swap meet, same place as we found the wheels. We were down there last year. DDP, DB, old truck guy and I, Puddin' even made an appearance just for a little bit. And we found some good stuff for his Corvette. Side pipes and wheels. There we go, ready to mount her on the frame rail. Had Chin help me hold it up there. He put eyes on it, said it looks good. He held it up, I put eyes on it, looks good. Good enough for who it's for, good enough for DB. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and drill some holes in the frame here, and we're gonna put some riv nuts in there. So if you don't know what a riv nut is, that's what I call them anyway. It's like basically a pop rivet you put in there that's got threads. So drill a hole, put that in there, and then boom, you just take the bolts in and out. You don't have to get at the backside. You don't have any welding. They're gonna be 3/8 inch diameter, so DB's thick girls that he's hauling around in this thing, the old chunky monkeys, they're gonna be able to stand on these heated running boards. No problem when they get into do Corvette things. Drilling holes in red Corvettes. Oh yeah, it's gonna be lighter now because it's got holes in it. Race car. So first hole we drill is 1/2 inch. It's not quite big enough for a riv nut, so we're gonna ream it out just a little bit to slide that in there, and we should be good to go. We'll grab a riv tool, squeeze it in there, bada bing, bada boom. We got mounts for heated running boards. And we just put that in there, give it the old squeeze, bada bing, bada boom. Just like so, we got a 3/8 threaded mounting hole for a heated running board. Ka-chow. I don't use these things very often, but when I do, they're freaking awesome. When you can't get at the backside to put a piece of hardware on there or to get a wrench in there, case in point, a frame rail that is boxed. And that way when DB's sick of these silly side pipes, you can just unbolt them and sell them to the next silly person that wants to put side pipes on their Vette. All we gotta do is throw a giant fender washer on our bolt because we got a giant hole in our bracket. If DB wants to make new heavy duty brackets, he's more than welcome to. Oh yeah. You guys saw this strap that was bent and now it's flat. You can make a different one of those with different size holes so you don't have to use these fender washers, and you can make them different lengths if you want to adjust them up or down or tilt them down or up or vice versa. So he's got options there. There's a filler panel that goes right in there, and once he gets that in place, he can adjust them as tight as he wants. I'd like them up nice and high, that way, you know, your car's low, these aren't rubbing, but he's got options. It's a lot easier to bring them up than it is to bring them down. Now let's go do the other side. You know, this is like one of the very few cars that side pipes actually don't look bad on. Don't tell anybody I said that. The other one is the Cobras, or C2 Corvettes. They're acceptable as well with side pipes. Duff's more of a pickup guy. He likes little red express trucks with side pipes pointed vertical for stacks. All right, both the running boards are installed. Now we gotta hook up the heat, do a little plumbing. His fancy kit came with some header flanges. They're neck down to 2-inch, which seems pretty wimpy, but conveniently, that's what's going into our side pipes too. It was meant to be. So we're gonna put that on there, and then we're gonna have a pretty tight bend going to right there. I don't know if I can bend anything that tight. We might have to get some mandrel bends, but anyway, it should be a pretty straight run. We might have to do a little clearance there. Also, that's where the heater core's at. That's handy to get at if you got a lift. If not my problem. This side, it's a little bit further away. Are the engines offset, or is it just the way the headers are? Oh, I suppose the headers are further over to clear the steering box. And this side's moved over to clear the old HVAC box. Oh yeah, and then this one's way lower than that one. So this side will be the easier side to do, but well, let's get our collectors installed and see what we can do. Love me some headers. The only thing better than headers is headers on a Corvette hooked up to side pipes. Very nice.
Really nice.
DB showed up with a radiator. Looks like these are 80 watt. Oh, we got the 90 watters on this one instead of this one being higher. This one is lower on this side. Otherwise, pretty much the same thing. Oh man, the old one's got these sweet louvers. The new one does not have the louvers. Son of a biscuit, but check it out. Instead of the neck coming straight up, it comes at an angle and shoots the right direction like the factory ones do. Same deal on the bottom side. Instead of being right at the bottom of the tank, this one's up a ways, and then the transmission cooler line is below it, and then it also angles up, so that's going to be awesome. Also, this one comes with ends, and we're going to cut those off and put some weather packs on there, but this one doesn't have connectors on the ends, just flat spades. So anyway, this is going to make our life a whole lot easier. It doesn't have the port for the LS swap. Son of a biscuit. No LS swap for you, DB. He's still waiting on the brackets to hold it down, but for now, we can just put a tarp strap on there, hold it in place. I don't have a low radiator hose. I got one ordered, so I got to figure out where that's at and if that's showing up. And I'm still waiting on the bends for the exhaust. But anyway, we got a radiator, so let's get this thing in there and see how it looks. Dig these out of the trash just for reference here. So we got the weather packs on there, and that's what they are, is weather tight instead of these crappy spade clips. If your connectors rattle, you don't want it. Because if you got a bad connection on your fans, your race car's not gonna cool. And then you won't have a very cool race car. Let's get this super cool radiator slid into this super cool race car. The other advantage to these type of connectors is you can repin them if you get them pinned backwards. Also, you can disconnect it if you ever gotta take your radiator out to service it instead of hardwiring it. Oh, does it fit? Freaking better. Oh, but we gotta slide that side in first with that big old neck. There we go. I do have a new formed upper radiator hose. Let's see how she fits. Which way does it go? Does it matter? Yep, it does matter. If you put it the other way, it's not going to clear our alternator bracket. Oh, isn't that glorious? We don't get to use up any flexi hoses, but that's going to be way more gooder for old DB. The radiator lays in here pretty good. Got our hold down in place. It's flexible and adjustable. Picked her up on the side of the road. Got the petcock easy to get at. Looks like the lower port's going to be super easy to run for our transmission cooler lines. Upper shouldn't be bad either. I don't know what this looks like air hose and it's swelled up. I don't like rubber transmission cooler lines, but anyway, I'm gonna get some correct rubber transmission cooler line or power steering hose and go ahead and replace that while we're at it. Because you don't want to be blowing no transmission cooler hose on your race car going into turn number 3 and kablooey, you got a bunch of neutrals in your TH350. So let's go ahead and get those replaced while we're sitting here waiting for the UPS guy to show up with some parts. Well, this is a new one to me. Usually somebody has went and screwed up the transmission cooler lines and then cut them and then put a rubber hose on there. But this is factory. It's actually a factory rubber splice, and it's a 5/16 line, necked up to 3/8, and then it's got that little flare there on the end so that it doesn't slip off there. It's the same on the line coming up from the transmission, so that is new. You learn something new every day with this with everything in general, but with this Corvette stuff. So instead of 5/16 line, we're gonna use some 3/8. So, interesting. I mean, being a race car, we should put some blue line on there. Could have used that red air hose, but I only got blue air hose. The old Bluebird seems to get shorter on its own, so we don't want to go ahead and cut any off of it. Just about got the fans wired. I went and checked the polarity and got them spinning the right way. The blue wire is the power and the black wire is ground, which seems correct to me, but I just wanted to verify, so I hooked them up 12-volt source. That's right. I literally just have to run the ground. I asked DB, I said, is the chassis grounded? Is the block grounded? He said, yeah. So we lifted it up in the air. Sure enough, they got the ground wire going from the battery to the chassis, and then the chassis to the engine. So anyway, the chassis is grounded, engine's grounded. So we're good to go there. So he's out looking for a starter. Let me show you why. I took the bolts out of the starter. I said, are these starter bolts? He says, yeah, they should be. Well, they're grade 8, so those are just good at snapping off in the block. And as I took it out, it's not a starter bolt, it's just a grade 8 bolt. Oh, with a lock washer, yay. The starter pushes the header over. That's how tight it is against it. It is literally pushing against it. I think you can clock these. I don't even care. I just don't like these starters. I mean, they work in a pinch, but anyway, he's gonna look for like a 4.3 Vortex starter and see if we can't fit that up in there so that we get away from this, because otherwise it's going to take the starter out, because headers, I love them. There's so many reasons I love them. The stud is pretty much stripped out on the starter up here, so I tied into power for that, for the relay, because there's no battery up here, because the battery's in the back of the car. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's how the heater hoses are ran. I don't love it, but I don't know how else they did it. Maybe from the factory they snuck it up there, but it would have been pretty tight. Speaking of tight, my Amazon exhaust kit came over here. These are like, I don't know the price. I think they're like 200 bucks, but they got some U-bends, some straights, some 45s. I think they got some 90s too. I mean, I know they got 90s. Did I leave it? There it is. They got 90s. So you can see we got to bend it up to get to that. Then we got to hog these out for it to fit inside of that, or expand it, or expand this to go over that, but you should expand this to go over that. So we got some exhaust work to do. Also, this wannabe low-car dipstick showed up. Hopefully that's long enough, so that way we can put some fluid in the transmission. So that's where we're at. Just doing some wiring, and DB's looking for a starter, because this starter is not going to be long for the world pushing over on that header like that. Pushing on the header is either going to shear the bolts off on the starter, or probably shear the bolts off on the header. The right thing to do would have been to take a claw hammer and smack the crap out of the header to get some clearance for the starter, and then save the claw hammer in the back of the car for when the starter inevitably goes out from all the heat from the headers, and then just beat the crap out of it. Yay for starters. You grab the one that says core. That's for an LS. Oh, try again. Oh, we dug through the stash. We found mini high torque starter. Oh, that was the one we took off with the stripped out threads. Yeah, she's junk. Well, DB can have. DB is gonna have, what do you say? A yard sale, a swap meet. We got one aluminum valve cover. We got Phytex. We got MSDs. Wants to save the MSD because he's gonna put a 2-step on it and upset the neighbors. We got stock Turbo 350 dipsticks. We got race car starters. We got the cars cassette. Oh, he's keeping that. Not for sale. But check out the clearance, Clarence. We put a starter off of like a 95 S10 pickup, or maybe a Vortex starter, I guess I call them. Bada bing, bada boom. It was the only one we had in the pile, and it's nice and rusty. But look at that. I could fit my fat hands in between there. The stud is not all stripped out. We got actual legit starter bolts in there. Way better for all of your header needs. Never mind the chrome dipstick with some fuel line and a couple Mexican hose clamps holding it in place. I'm sure that'll be fine. We'll put some high temp silicone on it, it'll be just fine. But anyway, he's got the block grounded real good like to the chassis. All kinds of room. Chin and I also noticed the engines don't sit centered. There's the center of the oil pan and there's the center of the cross member. And then also this engine mount hangs way lower than that engine mount. And I think that's by design, because it's for turning left. Race car things! DB not included. All right, I've been playing around with this thing a little bit, and I got some exhaust on it. I got to put some clamps yet, but let me show you. It was the hardest simple exhaust ever. I bought that kit. We only used one of the bends out of it, but anyway, let me show you what we got. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. This side it's just really tight in here. Like, I wish everything could be level, but I can only go so far and do so many things. Really, there should be a bend this way, and then this radius should be tighter, whatever. I even thought about putting a pipe from this side to that side and then just teeing them into it so we'd have like a H pipe, but I decided not to. Anyway, that side's pretty tight. This side's not so tight. And instead of a 90-degree bend like we used over there, I bent up, I think this is a 75, and that actually fit really well. I would like it to kick up because it kind of hangs down a little bit. I mean, it's not hanging too low. Who knows what DB's gonna do? Probably jump the railroad tracks, rip it off first thing. But anyway, gotta put a clamp there and a clamp there on each side, and we'll be good to go. But let's do an oil change. Look at that, it's got the Wix racing filter, the 51061R. R is for racing, because race car. Did you know that race car spelled backwards is race car? Anyway, I don't want to buy DB a new engine because I didn't change oil on it, so let's go ahead and change oil on it. I've never changed oil on a race car before. Pretty excited. You know, if this is a race car engine, shouldn't this oil be like brand new? All right, chrome oil pan, chrome drain plug, not even tight. This is probably gonna leak after we're done, if it doesn't already. Here we go, you ready for the blackest race car oil you've ever seen in your life? Gross. That's some pretty thick stuff too. Real thick. Well, I was gonna put like 530 synthetic in there, but that's like, oh my gassy Batman. Whew. That's terrible. Why is it so thick? I guess we're putting like 2050 in this thing because that's what was in it. At least there's no twinkle twinkle little stars. Super fast race car where you are. Alexa, play Little Red Corvette. Little Red Corvette. Oh, Little Red Corvette with the racing oil filter from Wix. Come over there. Ooh, squeaky. Sounds like Wisconsin cheese curds, fresh. Hold on, it's got a caution on there. A bent or damaged filter, a rupture and leak. Caution. Not intended for street use? Wow. That is extreme race car oil filtration right there. It's such a good Wix filter that you can't even run it on the street. Dang, keep that on the DL. The old red rocket here isn't exactly street legal.
But let's keep that on the down low. It's not exactly street legal.
Gall dang DB Senior. We're just gonna call him DA because A comes for B. And yeah, wow. Hot rod racing oil filter. Come on off of there without making a mess. Not for street use. Whew. Freaking fast.
He's the fastest kid alive.
You know Wix just puts that filter on and charges you $8 extra for your oil filter, right? What do I know?
Well, I ain't got no racing filters around here because we ain't got no dang old race cars in the backyard, but we got that racing oil. It's got the V for the Valvoline and the R for racing and classic cars. We got a lot of classic cars. I don't know if they're classics or just crap boxes, but anyway, it says racing right there. So DB, you owe me, it's America's #1 racing oil, because if you ain't #1, you're #2 or less, because I can do math. DB, you owe me some goddamn right. You know how you know that it's racing oil? Because it's got the American flag right there. This ain't no Iranian oil. It's American made and formulated right here in the United States of Texas. And it's got a race car right there. See how he's sliding the corner and burning the tires? It's got the wing on the back. It says Valvoline down the side. It's red, white, and blue. It might be a Nissan. It ain't no American car, but it's American oil right there. Just kidding. It says made in America of foreign and domestic materials. Did you know that Valvoline is in Lexington, Kentucky? And the source is the NPD group. So they was the best-selling racing oil in 2021. I don't know if they are in 2026 anymore. Probably not. It's probably that Walmart oil. You want to hear a race car? Oh, son of a! Have an assault! You want to hear a race car? Oh, son of a! Don't spill the racing oil. Tip it sideways. This is the dumbest thing I did all day. Well, probably not, but what was my race car joke? Well, we already said race car backwards is race car. Oh, you know how you end up with $1 million by running a race car? You start out with $1 billion. Something like that. Anyway, I'm a mess. I'm gonna put this on. Race car. DA's probably watching. He's like, all right, some of them brand new filters right there. Why don't you say something? You're gonna ruin my race car engine by putting the Wix 51060 on there. You're supposed to run the 51061R. That's a race car engine with some smaller heads on it and a chrome oil pan. It's got the shiny headers and the side pipes. Is there a cloth in my back pocket? There sure is, because I'm a race car tuner. Oh, yeah. I think I remember my dad having a chrome filter on a PH8A, you know, a Ford Fram filter on. Supposed to go on the 34 Ford. Sitting on the shelf. I probably got it somewhere still. Because I doubt I ever put it on anything, because it's probably some real piece of crap. And so, you see, you can't even get in there to tighten this son of a biscuit. If I ever build my own race car, it is not gonna have headers on it. I don't care if I lose every race, I refuse to run headers. That ain't going nowhere. Where are you going? Nowhere.
Where you going? Nowhere.
I'm gonna go inside the house and watch Talladega Nights right now. Or maybe some Days of Thunder. Wasn't there a movie, F1? Probably a lot of race car movies. I've probably watched a bunch of them too. Please don't leak. Please don't pull the threads out. That would be my luck. All right, let's go dump some of that racing oil in our race car engine. I'm gonna make you so fast.
I'm gonna give you an engine, extra big oil pan that'll cut the wind from underneath you. I'm gonna give you a fuel line that will hold an extra gallon of gas.
I'm gonna give you an extra big fuel line, so you hold an extra 16 ounces of gasoline. Oh, at least we got a spot to fill oil on our race car engine over here. It's the 710 cap. Son of a biscuit, that is a tight fit on there. Oh, yeah. It's got friction modifiers added to boost horsepower. What? Friction modifiers to boost horsepower? Okay. It's got the enhanced anti-foam agent.
Enhance.
Designed to protect critical parts. All the critical parts in your engine. Like your catalytic converters and your smog pump and your K&N air filter. We're gonna have to find us a red K&N knockoff air filter to go with all this other crap on this race car. It's also got 2 times more zinc for extreme wear protection. Extreme oil change like you do on Pole Barn Garage. Extreme. Oh my gosh. This is some thick stuff.
I don't know why I got, oh, it's because it's classic car oil. I'll say why I got racing oil in my garage. I ain't got no race cars. DB, don't be driving your race car when it's below 60 degrees because this oil, she's gonna be thick. You're gonna have to drain it out, heat it up on your mama's stove top to get her up to operating temp before you go ahead and fire it up. Otherwise, it's gonna destroy your critical engine components. You hear me? Built me a lot of race car engines in my day, I know. Put the 710 cap back on. There's a snug fit. What the French toast? God dang, God, I almost had to get me that goddamn claw hammer, put that back on. It's even got the racing flags on the racing cap. Oh, that is not the correct fuel cap. It's a 2-piece, cause race car, it's like the wheels. It's got them 3-piece wheels. It smells like gas. It don't look like rust, so we're just gonna go ahead and dump some race gas into it. And by race gas, I mean the finest 87 with all the ethanol that North Dakota has to provide. Don't some of the race car guys run that E85 ethanol stuff? Real fast. I keep my race gas in my race jug for my race car. This is the 106.7 octane. 167, you know, it makes it go the fastest. I hope it don't run out to the bottom. This stuff's like $19 a liter. Race car's got lots of liters, 5.7 liters in this race car. That's why I ain't got no radio, because a race car go real fast. Brum. Love to smell that race gas in the morning. In the afternoon, I like to smell of Budweisers. I like Budweiser because they're red and white and blue, just like my collar. Damn it, now, all this Budweiser talk, I'm getting thirsty, Duff. No race gas on the ground yet. Little red Corvette. I was thinking about putting some 59 Cadillac taillights on the back of this thing and then put a little spoiler on the back like that Vin Diesel guy's got. Yeah. She's always talking about them 8-second cars. Well, this thing's meant to turn corners, ain't going a straight line, but I think that I could probably jump a case of Budweisers on gravel if I put my circle jerker tires on the back, and this thing would probably run in the mid to high fives. High five, crisp high five. Race car. Race car? We better save a little bit to prime our race car. It'll bright carburetor, so we don't burn out our race car S10 starter we got on this thing. I do know what is not wrong with it. It does have gas in it. It's even got a race car gas cap, 2 gas caps. It should be locking so nobody steals your race car gas though. Duff, you ready to crank this son of a gun up, see what them side pipes sound like? Blah, blah. You can tell these side pipes is new because there ain't no soot in there, and there ain't gonna be no soot coming out now because that 167 octane, it just burns clean through it. Just burns through. You can't even tell that it's there. It's a race car, so it's got the battery in the back for the weight distribution and the transfer. That's why I know that it would hop a 30-pack of Busch Lights, is because it's got all this weight over the wheel. And we put 2-ton Linda in the passenger seat, and it's gonna get all the traction, you know. Usually she doesn't ride with on the circle track because, you know, you want the weight on the inside, and Linda would be on the outside when she's not on top of me. But in a straight line, you want Linda with. Give her a drink of the hot sauce. You too can have a hot sauce bottle of your very own by going to mortskerepair.com. Yes, I know it looks like a ketchup bottle or condiments, whatever kind of condiments you're into. Some Sweet Baby Ray's, but at mortskerepair.com they have the hot sauce band on them, so you know that it is the hot sauce. You better just hide behind that engine block back there in case it gets real wild. I might have to be up here to run the carburetor. I have yet to sit in this thing. I don't know if I fit. Race car. Race car! Oh yeah, smell that race gas coming out them side pipes, Duffy. Get you some. We getting any fuel up here? Probably not. You know, I don't really know where the timing is at because I just drive the race car. I have no idea how to time an engine, but it seems awful lazy for a race car engine. That lazy, we don't want no lazy race car engine. What the French toast? Why my race car engine don't want to run no more? We got gas. We got no spark or what? I gotta take a break from the race car thing and use my real brain. Try to figure out why this thing isn't running that great. I don't know anything about this carburetor other than it came out of a tote upstairs in the attic, so it could be the carburetor. Clearly the timing is all whacked up. I'm gonna double check the timing, the fire order, all that stuff, and we'll try to fire it up again, but it sounds pretty good. It's kind of nice tone to it, so I don't hate the side pipes. Race car. What do you think about the race car? Race gas. All right, got her running a little bit better, played with the timing a little bit, turned the idle up a little bit, and banally just cleared it out. I don't know, those plugs seem like they were really loaded up. We also might have a vacuum leak. Oh, I tightened all 4 center intake bolts. Usually you torque down the intake from the center out. They were just finger tight in the middle. But the outside ones were tight. So it makes sense, DB doing backwards. DB doing backwards. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if it was the vacuum leak or what. Went around with the heat gun and checked to make sure every cylinder's firing. That is the beauty of headers. You can go around each header and point on each cylinder and see which ones are hot and which ones are not. You guys remember that website back in the day, back in about 2003, 4? Hot or not? Yeah, you just, anyway, because we love being judged on the internet. Put about 5 quarts in the transmission. I think that's over full. Put a couple of pints in the power steering. I think that's probably over full. Looks like there's some oil on the ground, so we're gonna have to lift it up, see what's leaking there. Speaking of the transmission, it came with this cute little beer bong here, adapter. That is the worst part about these flexi dipsticks is you can't really get a funnel in there. So these guys sent you a funnel. So anyway, we're gonna keep playing around with it, getting it to run better, but brakes. I zip tied the spark plug wires up to the master cylinder so that they don't drag on the headers. And when I did that, I seen that the bail clip is just kind of hanging on for dear life. So I took it off and it's empty on the rear. And if you know anything about anything, you know that Corvette's got 4-wheel disc brakes and they got dual piston calipers, and they're the crappiest thing ever. Every Corvette ever of the C3 that you ever look at either is $1 million or it has no brakes or the brakes leak. These things are just notorious. I guess there's a kit that you put in there to make them so that they don't leak. You go to O-rings instead of a lip seal or something like that. But anyway, I don't have any of that because Corvette master cylinders are about the only Corvette part I got around here other than, you know, Corvette valve covers and Corvette engines. Maybe some 8-inch Corvette rallies. Yeah, that's about it. But anyway, lo and behold, rear reservoir empty. DB said it kind of had brakes. So let's throw some brake fluid in there and go hit it a few times and see if it leaks out somewhere by that tire or that tire. Or maybe it just won't leak at all. That'd be great. Come on, this morning the furnace ain't working, so we got the furnace repairman on duty. Cleaning the tip. Chin and I are putting some spark plugs in here, non-racing. Of course, race car engine builders put race car spark plugs in. Autolite Racing, AR, that stands for Autolite Racing 133s. They don't look great, but they don't look the worst. But maybe that'll fix the bogginess. It's definitely not running like a race car.
This is my first experience changing spark plugs.
With headers, it's great, isn't it? Don't you love it?
What
a splendid idea.
It's a
real pain in the butthole.
It's a thing. You know, there was a time in my life when I was younger and had.
It's a good thing that you were raised so poor that you could not afford a set of headers.
I can't say anything to that. It's pretty much the truth. And all the gobs of horsepower that my 305 Chevrolet would have gained with these headers.
That's actually a lie, because DB grew up in Shady Lane trailer court. He could still afford headers for his Corvette. So the best is when you put headers on a car that doesn't even run.
So what kind of wrench do I need?
A regular. Oh, that's great. You get every 5/8 socket from the entire toolbox.
That's a real. Why would you design something?
Because they flow. Sure. Screw the design. You know the best. Like it does so many terrible things, but there's so much lead in the water that people are like, I'm gonna buy some of them. Yeah, let's just hope that the spark plug wires last long enough to get him home.
Out of the driveway.
Out tail light warranty.
At least to town.
It's downhill. I'm gonna lift it up in the air and try to get the back ones out from the bottom. One eternity later. We got all the spark plugs in. See if it runs better, like a race car should. Electric fans are wired up. Oh yeah. Thrust right there.
For it to take off.
That's what electric fans sound like on low voltage, kids. Well, that's the best it's ever fired up, so I think we're onto something. Definitely the best that it has ever run. So spark plugs were all fouled out. Oil was like crap. This had to be the worst running race car engine ever. I'm guessing they probably didn't finish the race or even a lap. So shout out to whoever DA's race car engine tuner guy was, because he sucked pretty bad when I can tune it better with random not race car engine parts off the shelf. But anyway, we're not going to run it much longer because we don't want to smoke out the shop and have to open the doors because we don't have any heat right now. And it was -1 this morning when I looked, so it's below 0 if you're into race car math. And yeah, Chin's going to jump in here, see how he fits. We're going to try to bleed some brakes so that if we do get a radiator hose today and get some coolant in this thing, we can take it for a test drive with brakes in the snow and break down. Oh, the heater hose are hooked up, so maybe it's got heat.
Oh, you know what's gonna be awesome for the snow?
Pipes. Wah, wah.
Ready to hear it run for the first time ever, DB?
I am. Let's hear it.
It's gonna wipe that mustache right off your face.
Won't take much.
You gonna turn the key?
Oh, I thought you were. I have to do everything around here to get your car running.
I just started for you.
And I'm gonna have to drive you around in it.
Good enough for the girls you go with?
Race car. It's a race car, Mojo. Did you just say it's embarrassing? Well, DB's happy that it's running, so that's all that matters. I'm gonna go ahead and swap a different carburetor on here because I think it needs to run better. So I'm gonna throw a manual choke, 1405, 600 CFM metal Brock on them because that's what I got. And I think this one's not, needs to have old Mojo Craft rebuilding. Go check out the Mojo Craft pocket tees we got. We got Mojo Craft decals, we got Mojo Craft banners, and we got Mojo Craft magnetic screwdrivers as well. All available at mortske.com and more. Which one? The one that looks like it's been backfired through a few times, or the super dusty dirty one? Super dusty dirty one, I think. Why is that one so black in there? Somebody had some timing issues, I think.
Get any accelerator pump. I guess we're gonna try Edelbrock number 3. So it took us 4 Edelbrock carburetors before we got one that runs acceptably. So we're gonna have to put some kits in the other ones. 2 of them was just the accelerator pump dried up, so we'll get some of those. But accelerator pumps are 18 bucks and a kit is 20, so we're just gonna kit them. But anyway, long story short, we got a carburetor that works good. I went ahead and I moved the vacuum for the brake booster to the back of the carburetor, because we got to put a vacuum modulator hose on this thing. DB forgot to bring his formed factory original one with, but I had one out back. We cannot get that thing fished up between the bell housing and the transmission. So we're going to take some 3/16 copper brake line and we're going to make our own. We're going to fish her down through there and we're going to hook it up to manifold vacuum up there. I got the low radiator hose installed so we can go ahead and dump some coolant in. It is 12 degrees out with a heck of a wind, and it's blowing straight from the south, so the furnace is going to be running pretty much all day, unfortunately. So, excuse the noise. I'm going to go ahead and fish this between the transmission and the firewall and see if we can't get ourselves a vacuum modulator working on the old 350. DB says that this transmission drove before they took it out of whatever they took it out of, so hopefully that is correct. Remember how I said I was going to make it out at 3/16? Well, the fitting coming out of the vacuum modulator is 1/4 inch, and then the fitting I got to go in the intake is 1/4 inch, so I ran 1/4 inch. Got my fancy bender, put a 180-degree bend in it with no kinks. You know, we're going to go with the big 1/4 inch line because this thing ain't got no vacuum because it's a race car engine. But anyway, we're good to go. We're going to have all the gears. At least all the gears that this thing started out with when he brought it into me anyway. Now I took out our adapter that went to 3/8 vacuum and we're gonna go to 1/4 inch. All right, just gotta hook this rubber hose between our fitting and our nickel copper line. It's never gonna rot off on DB, and that is also the reason that we're using hardline. It doesn't collapse, it doesn't get dry rotted, it doesn't get screwed up by oil, it doesn't get burned off by headers. Yeah, and that's the way they did it from the factory. And you want to keep your Corvette race car all factory like. Now I'm going to go underneath and hook it back up because when I was jostling around up here, it came unhooked and we're going to have a giant vacuum leak if I don't hook it back up. DB, the race car parts fairy, showed up and brought us some upper radiator hold down bracket mount thingers. These are fresh used off of eBay. He said that the reproductions are like 80 and these are half price, so I guess that would be 40. But anyway, let's put those on there and then we can get rid of the racing tarp strap that we got holding the radiator in place and maybe throw some coolant in this thing and not drive it outside because the wind is blowing Mach 9 race car fast today. No, I'm not whistling at you. I'm trying to be the wind, Duff. Not letting him keep my tarp strap. Found that thing on Highway 13 back in 2023. We had a lot of good times together. All right, these didn't come with the bolts, and the ones I grabbed are way too short. Story of my life. There you go. One radiator mounted. Unfortunately, when I took my tarp strap off, it was holding my wire harness up, so we're gonna have to put a zip tie on there to really church this thing up. Here we go, finally ready to dump some coolant in the old red race car. It's racing coolant, just kidding, it's regular original green. Also by Valvoline. Is it running out on the floor, Duff? If it is, don't lick it up. Gallon number 2, what's it gonna take? 3 like a regular small block? I don't know, it's got some pretty long radiator hoses in it. Maybe that's why they lean the radiator back, so that you can get more coolant in it.
You get a bigger radiator in it because it's laid sideways. Doubtful. I feel like I hear it running out the bottom, Duff. Is it coming out the overflow? Probably. Guess we'll go mix up a couple more. This is stupid. I don't know if it's, I think it's the radiator. It doesn't want to seal up against it. So this thing keeps tipping over sideways. Well, kind of like that. Frickin' race car things. Also, because it's not sealing, it wants to run past the overflow. Oh, weird. It's leaking out his chrome thermostat housing. Who would have ever guessed? I guess the good news is we know we got fluid that far. The bad news is it's leaking. And I'm betting if we crank it down a little bit more, it's still gonna leak, because that's what chrome parts do, especially thermostat housings. Every one of them frickin' leaks, every one. Chrome thermostat housings should be banned for sale. And anybody who sells them should be forced to walk on Legos for the rest of their lives. Lego shoes, they should have to wear Lego shoes. Do they make Lego shoes? If they did, I know a few people who would probably wear them. Let's give it a little crank, see if we can tighten it up any. Oh yeah. DB probably just had it loose. Hopefully, but I'm guessing it's gonna leak. Don't snap, please don't snap. Yeah, how, you're gonna have, oh yeah, when I squeeze it, it leaks out. Fudging A, I hate these things. We may as well swap it out with something that doesn't leak right now. I wanted to build this car out of just things that I absolutely hate, but I couldn't even force myself to do that. Flexi hoses, couldn't do it. Electric fans we stuck with. We put a mechanical fuel pump on it, could have left it electric. But I guess we could throw a bunch of red RTV on this thermostat housing to try and get it to seal up. But I'm not that terrible of a human being. Frickin' A. Frickin' A. Okay, well, he's already got a gasket in there, and sometimes they come with an O-ring that you put in there, and usually if you throw that away and you put a gasket, you got a fighting chance, or better yet, if you combine an O-ring and a gasket, which I don't recommend, they will sometimes seal up. Yeah, I don't know why it's leaking. Probably because it's not flat, I guess. Oh, he's got the RTV on it already. Yay. Oh, and he cut the bolt shorter so that it would fit. Ooh, and lock washers. Well done, DB. Well done. Oh, look at this nasty sucker. It's got that thermostatic opening, closing switch thing with the vacuum hoses in it. It's even got some pre-existing high-temp silicone on it that we refuse to clean off. I did, however, lube up the new gasket with some Vaseline so that when he wants to swap this out for the next chrome one, he can reuse that gasket. Oh, I gotta have 2 short bolts for this one. Dang it, DB only gave us 1 short and 1 long. We'll have to go find him a really rusty bolt to put on there. Maybe we can find something with a square head on it. Why are you so mean to DB? He doesn't care. He says he just wants it to run and drive, so we can do that. Maybe. Maybe. We still don't know if the transmission's gonna work. We don't know a lot of things. Maybe the rear end won't work. Maybe it won't cool. Maybe the brakes won't work. Maybe the steering doesn't work. We haven't checked the power steering, have we? Maybe? Come on. What is your problem? DB's yard sale part collection is getting pretty deep over there. He'll probably have enough money to take the old lady out to Pizza Ranch when we get done selling all this stuff. Yeah, this thing's gonna have so many air pockets. Good news is we don't have a temp gauge, so can't overheat. Can't overheat if you ain't got a temp gauge. I bet it's still full, even though I just had the top radiator hose off. We can maybe put a skosh more in there, but I don't think it's gonna matter. It's a race car engine. You don't need coolant. Oh yeah, look at that chrome Chevrolet embossed air cleaner, 409 turbo fire, 425 horsepower. If that don't scream race car, I don't know what does. I got this race car set on the ground. It looks like we got clearance for the exhaust, but I mean, DB will probably rip it off there. I think we're ready to go for a test drive. Fired it up, put her in gear, moves forward, moves backwards. I don't know what more we can do other than test her out. Ah, let's go do race car stuff. I wish the windows rolled down. I'm gonna get claustrophobic in the red rocket here. Fasten seatbelts. Check. Make sure my door opens from the inside. Rearview mirror, tiny window. 77 last year, the tiny window. 78 got the hatchback. We got reverse, we got brakes. We barely got an engine running. Almost made it out of the shop. Race car, gotta clear it out. Not my car. Freaking loads up right away. Of course, we went from like -10 to 50 degrees. So now it's hot out and I want the window down. And power window things. It ain't bad. It's gonna be so disgustingly muddy underneath. Sorry, DB. But it's got brakes. I don't know, she kind of loads up. And that's just with a little 600 on it. And that carburetor, we don't know a ton about. We know that it works. See, I have a conscience. I don't want to whip donuts in the mud because it's DB's car. So, give it a couple more laps around the race car track here and I probably will. Well, there's second. Power steering kind of works. I mean, it's not great. Well, that's a good drift action there. Don't hit the ice. That's the tough part about this time of year is going between hard, wet, and frozen. And not hitting the 2013 F-150. Oh, that's a good one! Oh, this thing's got to be so disgusting. We better put some gas in it. Well, we put 6 gallons in there. That should be enough. We'll put a little bit more in there. We'll give DB some more gas. Yeah, it seems like it wants to load up. Let's put some gas in it and see how disgusting it is. She's a little disgusting. I think it's the dirtiest Corvette in the township for the time being anyway. I like the steam coming off the side pipes. Unfortunately, I don't hate it. Give it time. I'll hate it again. You ready to check this thing out? Load up. Let's do this. Yeah. Heck with the vinyl seats. Oh, yeah. Shin didn't think you liked the exhaust. You love the exhaust. Hang on. You're gonna have to be hanging on, man, because you really gotta get after her to keep her cleaned out, because she's a race car. Oh, we are just making a goddamn mess out of this guy's yard. Sure glad I got a racetrack built in my yard, though. I think it's a posi. I mean, it should be, because it's a goddamn Corvette. Why would you have anything else? Now I wish I had wipers. There's DB, sucker. It's a little squishy, and it's freaking hot in here now with you, Duff. Little wind noise. Yeah, the back end needs to be firmer. I don't know if it's blown out spring. It's soft yet firm. Like, it like bottoms out. I don't know if it's bottoms out. The good news is with his tiny little white letter tires, they're not rubbing. So, I mean, there's that. Bob. She needs a little fine tuning. We have done 0 timing or carburetor adjustments. A little bit with the idle, a little bit with the timing. So I think there's more in it. I don't know. It's really weird. It's like tight. Like you could reach the other door and you're tight up against this one. And I feel like you sit cattywampus. You don't sit straight with the world. I'm 6'1", like 240, and I'm about as big as you'd want to be. You could maybe be 6'3" and drive one of these cars, but that is another thing. I always wanted one of these, but it had to be a 4-speed, and I sat in a buddy's once about 10 years ago, and I'm like, no way there's even room for a clutch pedal in my feet. So yeah, no 4-speed cars for me. No attack, no temp gauge. We got like 65, 70 pounds of oil pressure. Fuel gauge has been pegged since we started, but it should be pegged right now. Yeah. I wish we had an adjuster for the mirror. Oh, you can see the daylight through the door where the skid steer forks poked through. I feel like all these cars probably had power windows, or the majority. Manual windows would be nice because the switches are in the middle, and GM power windows of the generation really kind of sucked. So yeah, that would be better if they were manual, in my opinion. But yeah, it handles pretty good. It won't like blow your doors off, that's for sure, but she gets up in boogies. I don't know that we should be going too fast because DB worked on this thing. But we did kind of check it out. Brakes are all right, actually. I told him he needs to get updated calipers. Yeah, it pulls to the left when you hit the brakes. Get the updated calipers with the O-rings, or put the kits in there or whatever, but they actually work pretty decent. It definitely needs an alignment. I like the steering wheel on this thing. It's got, I don't know, I call them the sport steering wheels. They're like pretty cool. Like the coolest part of the whole car. So he's got that going for him.
DB. Sight! Tranny shifts nice and firm. The exhaust actually, it kind of makes the car, unfortunately. It sounds pretty good and it looks even cooler. We got to put that side trim on it. Oh, we just got smoked by an Impala. That's how fast this thing is. We had a, whatever his Impala is, 3.5, 3.6, 3.9, something, just smoke us. But anyway, yeah, pretty decent. I suppose before we break it, we should take it home and let him drive it for the first time ever. I kind of wanted to flog it and then see how everything works and then take Chin for a ride and flog it some more and then let DB drive it. So Chin, you just don't get a ride before DB does. Shifts way too soon. He does have the brake lights working. When Chin was bleeding brakes, I looked at that, so he's got those going. He's got to figure out the Miata race car headlight flipperooskies and that, and then probably some seat belts would be ideal. And then yeah, it should be roadworthy-ish, I think. I don't know. A temp gauge would be good, seeing as how, you know, he's got that high dollar race car engine, and these things are prone to overheating. To at least keep an eye on that. Fuel gauge needs to be fixed. You can do a little tidying up on the old wiring underneath. He's got plenty of things he can do. I'm sure the first thing he's going to do is put some silly lights on it on the inside and a stereo, and not do like the important things like the brakes. I told him he needs to figure out the power steering leak fix. Hopefully they make some type of power steering box and get rid of all that RAM assist garbage, but I'm sure that costs real money, so he won't. And oil's cheap, I guess. The bullet on the speedometer for the transmission I noticed was leaking. Rear end's full of oil. So I mean, it should be a pretty good car for him. I mean, a really good daily. So, anyway. Race car. It's so ergonomic and comfortable and clean. Get DB's face so that we can get all the reactions for how excited he is for me to thrash on his car.
What did you do?
Why is it so muddy?
Yeah, what did I miss?
Because it's a circle jerker. Roundy round. It's a race car.
It looks
I did it counterclockwise so that we were sliding.
There you go.
It, I don't know, it seems like it loads up, so good luck with that.
It what?
It loads up.
What do you mean by that?
It means it's getting a lot of fuel, like more fuel than race car engine can take.
Yeah, I saw all the black smoke when you're trying to do a burnout.
So I don't know things. That's your problem to figure out. We made it run and drive. So yeah, you're probably gonna want to not clean it ever.
That's the plan. It's fiberglass. It'll be fine.
Red car!
Race car!
Red car! We turn around with his snow pile.
Where's your mullet?
Raptor car!
Where's your mullet?
And
your helmet?
I am not cool enough for this car.
No.
Now that you're all churched up dirt, this is your problem.
Yeah, you even left the T-tops on? You suck at driving this thing.
Yeah, I also left the windows up, and it's like driving a fishbowl inside of a microwave. It sucks. The steering's pretty good. Brakes are pretty good. Not good enough burnouts. It pushes through those.
It's got all kinds of oil pressure. Fuel gauge doesn't work, but there's a full tank of fuel in it. Was when I started.
Awesome.
You're gonna want to hook up the temp gauge because I've heard these have heating issues.
No.
You're gonna have to, I don't know, dial in the timing and fuel. I mean, it runs. I don't know if the charging system works. It rides, kinda. It's like soft, yet it's like, it like bouncies and then it bangies.
Huh.
It's got the bouncy bangies, kind of like your mom's bed. Boing. Yeah, it's boingy.
It's boingy.
There's light coming through the door on this side for some reason.
That's for ventilation.
That's the astro ventilation that
Yes.
GM talks about.
Well, now you got my interior all muddy.
Well, that was Duff.
No, I mean through the hole.
This mirror is not adjusted properly and is absolutely hideous. Here you go. Sit in it. Hold on. We just pimped your ride.
Sweet.
We didn't really. Well, we put pipes. We just piped your ride. Now DB's gonna be laying pipe. Oh, guaranteed he doesn't get it to start.
Oh.
Told you.
What'd you do?
Nice car. And that concludes this week's episode.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the thing is, with the battery connection is, you can't fix it with you in the way. Also, you need to put some battery cable ends on this thing. And check to make sure that it's charging. You hear how the fan sounds sick?
Yeah.
That's low voltage.
Oh,
you see how they came up a little bit? Oh, some things slid around back here.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, that's all the voltage.
Don't need a voltage gauge.
Okay, now try.
All right.
Guaranteed still doesn't get it.
Take two.
There's a trick. It's called being over 18, which you don't qualify yet. Good luck. I suppose I should go with him. CDB, that's loading up.
I see.
You know how your stepdad's blood alcohol content is? That's what's happening to the car. Oh my God, I'm caught! What is that? T-top handle.
I like the mud on the windshield.
Oh my God! Don't kill us.
Can't see anything in this.
Well, because the window's dirty or because it's...
Because it's just that ergonomic.
Woo! Feel the power.
So
It's
much
pretty
power.
bad. Somebody passed me in a white V6 Impala with it. And I had it flat. Whoa! Already lost control of it. It's driven it for 200 yards. Well, slow down for the mud puddles. Come on. Come on, man. That's all the further you want to drive it?
For now. I see what you mean about the fishbowl microwave.
It's hot in here, isn't it?
It's really hot.
He's going to drive it 420 miles across the states tomorrow. I only know it's not because of the drugs. It's because I drove that many a time. Well, probably from here, it's probably 432. Oh, look, it came with a firecracker. Firecracker go bang. Snakes and sparklers are the only ones I like. Whistling kitty chasers. Oh. You mean to tell me you ain't got no whistling bungholes?
So you're gonna tell me that you don't have no black cats, no Roman candles or screaming mimes?
Hey, speaking of whistling bungholes, we're working on a made in North Dakota muffler. That's right, it's gonna be good. Like, not we're gonna do it, not DB's gonna do it, but it's gonna be good. And we're looking for names. Submit your names down below. Just put down there like whistling bunghole. We want it to be something that pops. We want it to be something that is not Killer Bees. So Killer Bee has been rejected. It's not Killer Bees. Whistling bungholes would be awesome, but it's maybe a little bit aggressive. So I want something funny and memorable. And guess what? If you give us a name and we choose your name, we're like, that is what we want. I'm gonna give you $500 worth of merchandise. We got to use your name. But if you suggest a name for the Mortske muffler, don't say Duffler. We thought of the Duffler already. And no hush puppies, because that's been taken. No cherry bombs. No red dog dinguses. We can't have those. But anyway, I'm gonna give you $500 worth of Mortske merch. So comment down below, and if we choose you, we're gonna get a hold of you. We're gonna reply to your comment. I reply to them all, and then yeah, you're gonna be forever like known as, yeah, I picked the name Band-Aid, Velcro, Insert name here for mufflers for Mortske Repair. So comment down below your name for the muffler, because we need a name for a muffler. Back to DB and his glorious race car.
I'm happy. You happy?
I'm happy. I am happy that it's out of my shop. If all else fails and you can't keep this running, which guaranteed, let's take bets on how long before DB. I probably won't even leave my yard. C3 Corvettes, they're kind of, I don't know. I don't hate it. It's tight in there. I think we can do better. I mean, you clearly can't.
What are you talking about, man? This is as good as it gets. It's just ratty enough.
You have peaked.
Yes, this is it.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
You're so welcome that you now have so many race car parts.
I'm gonna take your mom on so many dates in this bad boy. I don't even know.
Oh, you should probably put your other race car valve cover on to make sure that it breathes.
It doesn't need to breathe.
It's got the PCV, which doesn't sit in there very tight, so it kind of just
Bluetooth
leaks around it. It's also got, where's the dipstick at? Where's the engine dipstick?
Oh, down there, the very hot chrome one.
Okay, that's how you know when you don't have enough ventilation on your race car engine, if it blows the dipstick out. Don't ask me how I know. But if you put regular valve covers on and you don't have any breather at all, it breathes through the dipstick tube. It's fine. I don't know why they even put breathers. Also, your car went from like 350, 375 horsepower. Now it's 4 1/4. I think that this clears. It maybe hits there. I don't know. We can fix that with a jigsaw. Oh, the tack doesn't work either. The speedometer does work. Is it? I don't know if it's charging. It does. Yeah, you'll definitely figure it out. There's plenty of videos on the internet on C3s, so go check them out. Go follow Buff's Garage and Pole Barn Garage. They'll show you all of the C3 things that. Also, it is a myth that lifting these cars up with the T-tops installed is bad news. It breaks things, because we didn't break anything. We lifted it up many a times. I think we should put one on a 4-wheel drive chassis with an LS in it.
I don't know. I thought the blower idea was kind of neat. That probably would weigh the front down enough to where we could actually spin the tires and stay seated.
When you put it in gear, like I was testing the transmission out, the back end just goes, honk. Like without, like, you know, like when you get after something like a race car and it squats down, like this thing actually does it, like just sitting in the garage. Let me show you. Let me show you race car things.
Now watch when my race car stinks. She just hooks.
That's what it's doing at the end there. It's not dieseling, it's like race car. It's speaking to me. I do like the side pipes. They sound really good in the car. I can only imagine what they sound like with the windows down, because I can't actually roll.
You just gotta touch the wires together.
You just gotta touch the wires together. It really, did you see how much it squats? Like, it's a ton.
Like every time you like tapped it, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's so weird how it does it.
Solid power.
What race car has electric windows? Race cars don't even have windows. You just gotta touch the wires together.
Probably a terrible idea, because they were kind of a pain to get rolled up.
Not my problem.
Bingo, stop.
I would imagine that the side pipes sound very similar with the door open as they do with the window down, but anyway. DB's door has a glory hole. Does your race car have a glory hole in the door? Alrighty, thank you very much for watching. Go check out the merch at mortske.com. We need to sell a whole bunch of merch so that we can afford to put DB through community college. Just kidding, DB's not college material. He's just gonna work here sweeping floors and taking out trash for the rest of his life. Race car! We're gonna have to give him a raise though so that he can afford to do race car things. So, thank you very much for watching. Go check out the other videos. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on Instagram, Mortske Repair. We're on Facebook, Mortske Repair. Remember, it doesn't matter, you get it done so long as you're having fun. And you know what's really fun? Race car! All right, get this thing out of my yard. in my life.
You guys know where the single moms are at?
Race car. Ah! Race car!